Hey everybody, you're listening to WVA Stonewall Jackson. WVA Stonewall Jackson. Thank you for tuning in again to my radio show and everything. Just now got done making y'all another show and everything. Just now got done reading to y'all about how the global elite pushes war with Russia. And also talked about some other stuff, which I had some problems with my internet at the time. But let me read y'all some more articles here. This is on Infowars.com. Here's a short article here. It says Clinton campaign panics over lack of volunteers. It says 2 campaign events in Akron, Ohio were canceled last minute due to lack of volunteers. And listen to this, y'all. This is crazy. There's some crazy stuff here. FBI allowed 2 Hillary... Let me restart that. FBI allowed 2 Hillary aides to destroy their laptops in newly exposed side agreements. Now, people, what I got to ask is, what are they hiding? It must be such a big... it must be something really bad or something for them to be destroying these laptops. And that's one reason I don't trust Hillary. If she'll lie about the 33,000 emails, just think about what else she'll lie about. But let me read the rest of this article to you. FBI allowed 2 Hillary aides to destroy their laptops in newly exposed side agreements. Just when you think the Hillary email scandal can't get any more bizarre and corrupt, it does. According to a just released letter from the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Bob Goodlatte, Republican, Virginia, to Attorney General Lynch, the FBI apparently struck side agreements with both Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson to destroy their laptops after concluding its search. While we parsed the letter to understand what basis for action the FBI may have had when pursuing such a course of action, we can't help but note that the FBI appears to have acted as a co-conspirator in what appears to be an unprecedented case of destruction of key evidence. Below are some of the key excerpts from a letter, full document attached at the end of the post. That's what it says. As part of the Judiciary Committee's ongoing oversight of Secretary Clinton's unauthorized use of private email server during her tenure as Secretary of State, the Justice Department provided in-camera review of certain immunity agreements. After a specific request from the committee, based on references made in the immunity agreements to certain side agreements, the DOJ subsequently provided in-camera review of those side agreements. Between DOJ, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and Beth Wilkinson's, the lawyer, representing both Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson. Like many things about this case, these new materials raise more questions than answers. Please provide a written response to the below questions and make Department of Justice staff available for a briefing on this matter no later than October 10th, 2016. Now they have on here, 1. Why did the FBI agree to destroy both Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson's laptops after concluding its search? 2. Doesn't the willingness of Miss Mills and Miss Samuelson's to have their laptops destroyed by the FBI contradict their claim that the laptops could have been withheld because they contain non-relevant privileged information? If so, doesn't that undermine the claim that the side agreements were necessary? 7. Please explain why DOJ agreed to limit their search of the Mills and Samuelson's laptops to a date no later than January 31st, 2015, and therefore given up any opportunity to find evidence related to the destruction of evidence or obstruction of justice related to Secretary Clinton's unauthorized use of a private email server during her tenure as Secretary of State. 8. Why was this time limit necessary when Ms. Mills and Ms. Samuelson were granted immunity for any potential destruction of evidence charges? 9. Please confirm whether a grand jury was convened to investigate Secretary Clinton's unauthorized use of a private email server. Disclosure is authorized under Fed or Crim P.6. Well, I'm not going to read it for it. But of course, since this will be promptly spun as just more plumes of smoke, we hope people will stop trying to criminalize behavior that is normal. And you can find a link to the letter and everything and read some more on this stuff. You can find y'all another article here. Now listen to this. All right. Claim. Smog causing traffic accidents. A new study by the London School of Economics has reported that health issues drivers face due to the pollution may be a leading cause of traffic accidents. Pollution from the outside can more than double in the car thanks to nitrogen oxide building in intensity from the small space. This can lead to health consequences that can impair drivers' ability. Drivers exposed to pollution may experience a watery nose or eyes, which can make it difficult for them to see the road clearly. Pollution can also impact the driver's fitness. Lutz Sager, the lead researcher on the study, stated, although it has already been shown that air pollution adversely affects human health and the ability to carry out mental tasks, this is the first published study that assesses the impact on road safety. The analysis identifies a causal effect of air pollution on road accidents, but I can only speculate about the cause of the link. My main theory is that air pollution impairs drivers' fitness. However, other explanations are possible, such as air pollution causing physical distractions, perhaps an itching nose or limiting visibility. Within the study, Sager and his team mapped out the pollution in London between the years of 2009 and 2014. They then studied the rate of the car accidents for each area and found that even a small rise in the amount of pollution in the air could increase the number of road accidents that occurred each day by 2%. Reducing nitrogen oxide by 30% was found to have a 5% reduction in the number of accidents that occurred in that particular area. Currently, the results are part of a working paper and will be placed in a peer-reviewed journal in the next few weeks. And while the researchers admit that the link is causal and more studies are needed in order to make this study conclusive, some scientists just aren't buying that pollution causes driver impairment or accidents. AA, the British equivalent of AAA, President Edmund King stated, if you think about areas which are high in air pollution, they are a lot busier with taxis and buses and lorries, and where you have a greater mix of traffic, you tend to have more accidents. It would be hard to tease apart whether a crash is caused by a driver wiping his eyes because of pollution or the type of traffic which is to blame. If you look at Mumbai and New Delhi, where you have some of the worst air pollution, yes, you have far more accidents, but it's also far more chaotic. More studies will be conducted in order to find conclusive evidence of this claim. Let's see here. Wow, this is crazy. Here's another article if I can get to pop up. Potential fatal disease discovered in Michigan deer. State officials confirm a Berrien County deer has died from a disease that killed more than 12,000 Michigan deer in 2012. Epizootic hemorrhagic disease, or EHD, is spread by flies. The disease causes extensive internal bleeding. There have been no cases reported in Michigan during the past few years, but 4 years ago, Michigan experienced its largest EHD outbreak ever, which devastated some deer herds. You can find more about the article on Infowars.com. See here. Chart. Hillary falling behind in Obama states. Hillary Clinton is underperforming in 20 states Obama won in 2012, highlighting the lack of enthusiasm voters have for Hillary. A chart published on the Free Republic reveals that Hillary is losing support in Democratic states despite the numerous mainstream media polls rigged in her favor. In other words, she's likely further behind than what this chart indicates. Virginia and Colorado corrected for apparent typo in original source. Hillary has beaten Obama's 2012 support in only 3 states, California, Maryland, and Colorado. Even more revealing, Hillary is behind by double digits in Washington, D.C., Hawaii, and Rhode Island, all of which are heavily Democratic. The chart exposes a huge hole in Hillary's campaign. Not only is there a lack of incitement for Hillary, but young voters generally don't like her. Young people and a lot of liberal people gravitated towards Bernie Sanders instead of Clinton because they knew what he stood for, and they weren't clear what Hillary Clinton stood for or what the Clinton era stood for. Former presidential contender Gary Hart said in an interview, which explains Hillary's problem, young people tend to be idealistic and they want to know what a candidate believes in, and Senator Sanders was much more clear about what he believed in than Secretary Clinton. But it's too late for Hillary. She recently criticized Bernie Sanders as basement dwellers and baristas. Some are new to politics completely, she said in a leaking recording. They're children of the Great Recession and they are living in their parents' basements. They feel they got their education and the jobs that are available to them are not at all what they envisioned for themselves. They don't see much of a future. Earlier this year, a Fox News exit poll showed that 50% of Bernie voters in West Virginia would choose Trump over Hillary, and it's likely Bernie voters would prefer Trump nationwide. Despite their different ideologies, Sanders and Socialist, and Trump, a Reagan nationalist, both candidates are populists who are viewed as outsiders, unlike the Wall Street financed Clinton. That's the end of this show. I thank y'all for listening to my radio program. You're listening to WVA Stonewall Jackson. WVA Stonewall Jackson. I thank y'all. God bless.